Hello students, this video on the chapter Sources of Energy from class 10th NCERT book is brought to you by Miss Bhanupriya. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that what all topics are to be discussed in this lesson. So the topics which are to be discussed in this lesson are: first I'll give you the introduction of this lesson, that is what about sources of energy, means what is the meaning of this word sources of energy and what are the examples of sources of energy. Then we'll go on to the next topic, that is a good source of energy. So good source of energy means what kind of characteristics it must possess that it will be a good sources of energy, it becomes a good source of energy. Next we are going to discuss about the conventional source of energy, then non-conventional sources of energy. After that we are going to discuss about the consequences which are related with these conventional and non-conventional sources of energy, and we are going to see the lifetime of an energy source. Okay, so these are the topics which are to be discussed in this complete lesson. So we go on to the first topic. Before that I would like to tell you about the connection between these topics, that is the conceptual map or the mind map of this topic. So here is that sources of energy in which we have to study. As I told you, that we have to study firstly about the characteristics of good sources of good fuel. Means what is the characteristic or what is the feature of any good fuel, and what will you know, means what material or the substance will be known as fuel. So if fuel means something which burns to give energy, okay, so here good fuel has certain characteristics like easy availability, it has less residual, means no wastage is formed, then low cost is there, then easy to store, it is easy to store and transport, it has a high calorific value, and it has no pollution. Okay, so this is all about the good characteristics of good sources of energy. We'll discuss this in details in the later. Next is we'll discuss about two types of sources of energy here in this lesson, that is about non-conventional sources of energy and conventional sources of energy. So conventional sources of energy are the fossil fuels which we are using in our daily life, that is coal, petroleum and the other products which is obtained from the earth's crust. Okay, so these are the two main conventional sources of energy, means traditional sources. Next is the non-renewable sources of energy, means these are the non-conventional sources of energy are the renewable sources of energy, which means the examples of these non-conventional sources of energy means they are the alternative source. These are solar energy, geothermal energy, nuclear energy, biomass energy, waste. This waste management is also being done. Then water energy means hydroelectricity, how it is being generated. Then wind energy. So these are the sources of energy which is present on our earth, and it is going to give you the various, means it is going to give you energy when it burns. Fine. So how is this energy being how are these sources being converted in the form of energy, and it helps our work to be completed, means it is going to give the energy, and we are going to drive various apparatus, various machines in our home with the help of these sources of energy. Even in the industries, big industries could run because of these non-conventional sources of energy. Okay, so I'll introduce the chapter to you all, that in class 9th we have studied about the total energy during a physical or a chemical change is conserved. Now this is the law of conservation of energy. Okay, so in the class 9th we have studied the this concept, that whether any chemical or physical change which is taking place, and I hope that you all know about the chemical and the physical change. Chemical changes are those changes where a new substance is formed, and a physical change is a change where no new substance is formed. So here any kind of change which is taking place in the surrounding, then energy is going to be conserved, the total amount of energy is being conserved. Now why is that we hear so much about energy crisis? Have you all heard about this word energy crisis? Yes, I think you all have heard that day by day the fossil fuels are going down in the earth's crust, and we need to check out the consumption of energy. We need to be in a we should use it very wisely, or we should use it in a very sustainable way. And I hope that the word sustainable is very clear to you all. Sustainable means that we are using the source of energy, or we are using something by thinking by thinking the fact that our future generation must also use these natural resources. So energy crisis will be there, of course will be there, because the things are limited and people are unlimited, and they are using it in a very broad manner, and you could say that they are exploiting these resources, because of which the crisis will arise. So we have heard about these energy crises. Now if energy is neither be created nor be destroyed, we should have no worries. Of course, yes. So we always say that these energies are being neither be created nor be destroyed. That is going to be this we have read in the last classes also, that it is neither created nor destroyed. Now we should, then again, we should not have any kind of worries, but still we need to perform, we need to use these resources very wisely. Why is it so? Because we should be able to perform endless activities without thinking about these resources. Okay, but this riddle is solved if you recall what else has been taught about energy. Okay, so this is very true that energy is neither be created nor be destroyed, but still we have to study more facts about these energies, why it is so that energy crisis is happening. If it is neither created nor destroyed, means its energy, it is the earth's crust is full of energies, and how is then it is becoming that energy crisis is arising? So we know that energy comes from various different forms, or it occurs from the various forms, and it is converted from one form to another. For example, if we drop a plate from height, the potential energy of the plate is converted mostly to sound energy when it hits the ground. Okay, so when a plate is falling down on the surface of the earth, it breaks into pieces. Okay, so when it breaks into pieces, it gives you sound energy. So the potential energy which was possessed inside this plate, once it started falling, and it was converted in the form of sound energy, or the because of which it has fallen down was the kinetic energy. So here the energy conversion is taking place at each and every step. So for example, next example is being said that if we light a candle, the process is highly exothermic. So the chemical change is chemical energy in the wax, which is converted in the heat energy and light energy on burning. Okay, so when a candle is being lighted up, then what happens? So chemical change is taking place and physical change is also taking place. So chemicals, if we talk about the chemical change, if the wax is burning, the energy which is present in the this light in this region, then what will happen? Then it is going to be converted. So the chemical energy from which the wax is converted in the form of heat energy and light energy on burning, it is going to be seen as a form of the chemical change, where one substance is changing into another substance, and where one energy is being changed into another form of energy. Similarly, we have to see what all products are formed because of this chemical changes when a candle is going to burn. Okay, so next we will see that the total energy during a physical and a chemical change remains same. But suppose if we consider the burning of candle again, then what we will see? Then somehow we are going to put together this heat and light energy to generate which is generated along with the products of the reaction to get back the chemical energy in the form of wax. It is saying that when the candle is burning, means it is an example where fuel is being burnt, and then the candle, then what happens? A new product is going to be formed, which will be the melting of wax or the formation of heat energy or light energy, where total energy, when we are going to sum it on, then what will happen? It is going to be very much that energy, amount of energy will be equal to the amount of the coal which is being burnt. Okay. Now let us consider another example. Suppose that we take 100 ml of water. Fine. Now one more example is there, that we are taking 100 ml of water which has a temperature of 75 degrees Celsius, and we leave it in a room temperature which is at 25 degrees Celsius. Now what will happen? Is there be any what will happen to it? Is there any way of collecting all the heat which is lost to the environment and make that water hot once again when it is cooled down? Means if since one energy is being converted from one form to another form, is it possible to bring back that energy which is being lost? So we are going to find out the answers to these questions in this chapter. Okay, so these types of questions will be answered in this chapter. So here what will happen, and is there any other example with then that we consider when we see that energy is unusable, or it is usable form, or it dissipates, means it is going in the environment or not, whether it is in the same form when it is going in the environment or not. Okay, so we are going to see the changes. We are going to see the changes in the energy. Okay, that forms of energy where the chemical energy is being converted into another form of energy, or the energy which is present in the water is going to be converted in the form of another form of energy. Okay, so this is how we are going to see the type of the way by which it is going to show you the types of changes. Okay, so next we will see about the characteristics of good fuel. Before that, I must tell you about what is the meaning of the word fuel. Now, fuel is a substance which burns to give when it is going to burn, when it is going to be heated, it gives you energy, and that energy is utilized for doing various work. Okay, so that energy is going to be converted in the form of work done. So fuel is a substance. It could be any substance. It could be hydrogen, it could be coal, it could be petroleum, which is going to burn in certain amount, and it is going to give certain amount of energy which helps the person to do the work. So what is the characteristic of good fuel? So the characteristics means, see, fuel could be a good or a bad quality. Why it could be a good or a bad quality? Because if the amount of work done is not enough, if the amount of work done is not proper, then what will happen? We are not going to be able to complete the work with the help of the energy which is being utilized, which is being produced from it. Okay, so what is being done? So here it is going to be there that it should have high amount of energy. It should have high amount of energy, means it is going to give more amount of output when it is being burnt. When energy is being used, it should give you good amount of work. Okay, so this is about. And second number is the characteristic of good fuel will be it should be easily available, means it should not consume much amount of energy, much amount of economic value, so that it is easily available. Okay, next thing is that it should be easily stored and easily transported. Okay, it should be easily stored and easily transported. Now next thing is that it should be economical. Fine, it should be economical. Next is these are the few characteristics of good fuel. Now every fuel is not being able to, that is not being told as a good fuel. Okay, so what is a good fuel? If it consists of these characteristics, it is not producing any kind of pollution, also it should be pollution free. So these are the qualities of good fuel, where these fuel should be of having certain characteristics, like it should be readily available, means it is easily available. Okay, easily available. Then next is it should have low cost. Fine. Next, it should be easily stored and it should be easily transported. Fine. Now if it is not being easily transported, then what will happen? Then what is going to be happen? Now this is going to tell you that if it is not easily transported, then it is required to have, it is going to give you amount of energy which is given by this fuel will not be utilized completely. Okay, so it should be easily stored and transported. See, if it is available to the people, it will be utilized for the purpose. Okay, now next, if some small amount of fuel is being burnt, then it should give high calorific value. Okay, it should give high calorific value. Next thing, it should not pollute the environment. Next is that low content of non-combustible matter. It should be less residue, means it should give less amount of residue. The amount which is the wastage which is being produced by such burning of the fossil fuel or any other fuel, it should be minimum. So minimum wastage should be there, means after burning it should not leave any kind of waste. Okay, it should be pollution free. So fine, so these are the various important characteristics of fuel which is going to decide the quality of a fuel. If any fuel is following all these properties, so it means that it is a good fuel. Fine, so this is about the properties of good fuel, or it is the characteristics of good fuel, or it could be features of good fuel or qualities of good fuel. Fine, so this is all about the qualities of good fuel which is being utilized in the surrounding, from the which we get from the surrounding. Now fuel could be of sources of fuel could be the two type there should be two there are two types of fuel energy. Okay, there are two types of energy. First is conventional sources of energy, next is the non-conventional sources of energy. Now if we are talking about fuel, means it is going to give us the important sources of energy, or it is being counted as important source of energy. Now conventional sources of energy means they are the traditional sources of energy which is giving you the amount of heat and energy, or any energy in the form of any other form, means it is going to give you the amount of energy from the traditional way, means it is being utilized since long time. For example, wood, burning of wood, fossil fuels, natural gas, coal, petroleum, all these are the conventional sources of energy. Next is the non-conventional sources of energy, means these are the alternative sources of energy which could be sun, wind energy, water energy, ocean energy. Okay, so all these are the non-conventional sources of energy which we are going to discuss particularly in this lesson. So conventional sources of energy and non-conventional sources of energy will be the next broad topic to be discussed. Okay, now this we have seen that these are the good qualities of fuel. Now if we are talking about the fossil fuels, or if we are talking about the conventional sources of energy, are these the good fuel? Are these the type of good fuel? Some of them are good, but some of them are not good. Okay, so if we are going to burn coal, it is going to leave ash, means it is going to give you the amount of more amount of residue, so it is not going to be a good fuel. Next thing is that it is going to give you the pollution, means it is going to pollute the environment, it is going to give poisonous gases, it is going to burn in poisonous gases. Okay, whether it is having a high calorific value, but still the cost of mining and all is very costly. Okay, so it is not considered to be a good fuel, although it is going to give you the high calorific value. Fine, so that is why we are studying the sources of energy under two headings. Fine, so these two headings are the non-renewable sources of energy, and that is known as the conventional sources of energy. Next is the non-conventional sources of energy, which is also known as the renewable sources of energy. So these are the two broad categories of the sources of energy. Fine, so this is about the classification of the sources of energy. Okay, so this is the conventional and non-conventional. Now first is the conventional sources of energy. So the conventional sources of energy means these are non-renewable. Now the word non-renewable here means the one renewable means something which can be renewed, means something could be made in a form of new substance. Okay, it could be again brought back to its original form from where we have started. Fine, so this is about the non-conventional sources of energy, whereas the conventional sources of energy are those which is not going to be exhausted, means it is going to be exhausted with the help of because of the consumption. So these sources of energy, non-renewable sources of energy such as coal, petroleum, natural gas, all these could be in the form all these could be a non-renewable sources of energy. Okay, so here the points are: so the sources of energy which have been used for a long period of time, they are known as conventional sources of energy. Okay, so these are known as the renewable sources of energy, which means they are the conventional, and they are the non-renewable sources of energy which cannot be renewed, means once they are exhausted they are not able to be formed again after in a very small time span. Next, they are exhaustible. Okay, and then they are exhaustible, and then next is that they cause pollution also, they cause smoke. Even when they are burned, then they are going to cause ashes. Okay, next is that they are very expensive. For example, the coal, petroleum, natural gas, all these are the examples of non-renewable sources of energy that are considered to be the that are considered to be the conventional sources. Okay, so this is about the non-renewable sources or the conventional sources of energy. Next is the conventional sources of energy, means these are the non-renewable sources, which includes fossil fuels. Among fossil, because fossil fuels are formed inside the earth's surface, which is formed because of the remains of the plants and animals after millions of years. Okay, so these are formed after the millions of years of, it takes time. Next, the fossil fuels are the coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So fossil fuels are the renewable sources of energy, so they are used, so they should conserve, that use should be done very judiciously. Okay, so means it should be utilized in a very proper manner, in a very planned manner. Next is the what are the disadvantages of this fossil. Now first I'll tell you about how these fossil fuels are formed. So the coal is formed, the process of formation of coal is known as coalification. Okay, coalification, or it is also known as carbonization. Why, what is this carbonization? Carbonization is a process in which this coal is formed. And how this coal is being formed? Coal is formed 100 millions of years ago in the earth's crust, inside the earth's crust, where the plants and animal got buried inside the earth's surface, and then they after million years of ago, and their sediments were just coming upon it, means the layers of sediments were formed above it, and because of which the layers the layers are being formed, and it was utilized in the form of coal. It was utilized for the burning purpose. So this is the formation of the fossil fuels inside the earth's surface. Fine. Now there could be certain disadvantages of using these fossil fuels. The fossil fuels could be, they are being used because and they have certain disadvantages, because burning of fossil fuel, it releases gases and harmful particles which causes air pollution. Next is that burning of fossil fuel, they release acidic oxides. Fine. So the second disadvantage of this fossil fuel or burning of coal is that it is going to produce the oxides, and these oxides are very harmful in nature. That oxides of sulfur and nitrogen causes acid rain. Okay, so that causes acid rain, which is very harmful for living organisms. Now effect of soil and water cause damage to the buildings and corrosion to the metals. As you know that the acids which are being formed as acidic oxides, now they are going to corrode the environment, they are going to corrode the buildings and of the metals, and they are going to form they are going to affect the soil and water too. Next is the burning of fossil fuel is going to release a large amount of carbon dioxide gas. It is going to release a large amount of carbon dioxide gas, which increases the temperature also of the atmosphere and causing global warming. Now what is this global warming? It is causing the greenhouse effect. So these two words, greenhouse effect and global warming, are very much interrelated with each other. And now they are being how they are being formed, or how they are being this phenomenon is being shown on the earth's surface, is that because of the burning of the fossil fuel, here earth is there, suppose that, and here fossil fuels are being burned. So because of burning, lots and lots of carbon dioxide and other gases are going to be entrapped in the atmosphere. So this is atmosphere. Between these two layers, the smoke and the energy is going to be trapped, and as a result, what will happen, this energy which is being trapped is going to be re-radiated. As it is going on and striking the atmosphere, it is again going to come back and again going to go back. So this is how it warms up the surface. So if the earth is getting hot, or its surface is rising if its temperature is rising, then what will happen, the temperature of the earth's surface is rising, which leads to global warming. And this is because of the effect of this radiation and re-radiation of the heat is known as the greenhouse effect. Okay, as this greenhouse is present in the mountainous areas, where inside these greenhouses the plants are being grown. Now once these plants are being grown, then what happens, they are going to they are going to be protected, because outside it is very chilly, and if it is not getting the proper temperature, then they are not going to be surviving in that particular condition. So these are the disadvantages of fossil fuel. Now let us study more about these fossil fuels. So fossil fuel, like oil, gas, natural gas, are known as fossil fuel. Why they are called fossil fuels? Because they are formed from the fossils, and fossils are the dead and decaying remains of the plants and animals which got buried inside the earth's surface, and it took millions of years to get fossilized. Okay, so these are the plants and animals, which are getting converted in the form of fuels, and which we are using as fossil fuels. Okay, they are going to provide about 66% of the world's electrical power. Now these fossil fuels have a very important role in the utilization of the energy in the thermal power plants. Okay, so this is what is about the fossil fuel and its utilization in the thermal power plants. Okay, and 95% of the world's total energy demands are being used because of this fossil fuels. Next is, how is this fossil fuel going to work? So these fossil fuels are crushed into fine dust and they are burned, and oil and gases are used directly. So fossil fuels means this coal is we are going to crush this coal and we utilize them for burning purpose. Now once the burning of fuel takes place, it is going to be converting into another form. Then it gets converted into another form. Then it runs turbine, which is going to produce this electric power, which is sent around in the country. So this is all about how this fossil fuel is going to work. Okay, next is that coal provides around 28% of energy around the world, and oil provides about 40%. So these are the facts which is going to tell you about the type of fuel which the people are using. Now crude oil or petroleum, this is known as the petroleum, or it gets easier to get out of the ground than the coal. It is flown through the pipes. Again, this formation of this petrol takes millions of years by the process of petrification. Okay, so by the process of petrification. So this petrification is again because of so this is formed and it is very cheaper. Why it is cheaper? Because it is cheaper at least than the coal. Fine. Now why it is coming from the sea beds, and the same process takes place where the animals and the plants which are present inside the oceans and the seas, they get buried inside the earth's surface, and they get converted into the forms of fossil fuels. Okay, so this is about the petroleum, how it is being formed and how it is being utilized. So these are being extracted using the oil wells, and petrification is done in many years. So it means it is going to take lots and lots of years, which because of which it cannot be renewed again. So these are the conventional sources of energy, and they are the main conventional sources of energy which helps in the driving of many industries and factories. Natural gas is also one of the important part of this fossil fuel, which gives 20% of the world's consumption energy. Okay, next is the advantage of using fossil fuels. So the advantage of using fossil fuels could be very much. What are these advantages of using fossil fuel? Is that first of all, it produces very large amount of energy. Why it is going to produce large amount of energy? As it is generated using coal and it is fairly cheaper. So the energy which is being generated from these coal is a little bit cheaper. Next, the transportation of this oil and gas to the power station is very easy. Next is the gas which is being fired in power stations are very efficient. Means the fossil fuels which are used, such as this natural gas, this is a pollution free gas, and this is also utilized in the form of the alternative source also regarding fossil fuels. Now the fossil fuel power stations can be built almost everywhere, because what you need is the amount of coal and petroleum for running these fossil fuels, especially the coal. So thermal power plant is one of the power plant which is generating the power using these burning of coal. So let us first see the disadvantage of using these fossil fuel once again. So basically the main drawback of the fossil fuel is this pollution. Okay, so this is causing burning of fossil fuel causes lots of pollution. Why? Because it produces harmful gases. As I told you that it produces acidic oxides, which leads to the formation of sulfur dioxide, and which leads to the formation of the acid rain. Next, burning of fossil fuel produces carbon dioxide, and it contributes the greenhouse effect. It contributes into greenhouse effect. Fine. Burning of fossil fuel produces sulfur dioxide, and the gas that contributes the acid, and it also contributes in acid rain. Next is the oil spills, which is a serious problem. Okay, oil spill is again a serious problem. Next is that mining of coal can be difficult and dangerous. Why? Because stripped mining destroys large areas of the landscape. So they are going to provide large areas. These stripped mining is also very dangerous for the people which are living near the mining areas where these fossil fuels are being extracted, means they are being mined. So this is known as these are the disadvantages which are being done because of this fossil fuel, which is because of the use of these fossil fuels. So the main drawback, I told you, that it is the smoke which is formed. Next, it is going to be oil spills are also happening, and this oil spill is very common when the petroleum is being extracted from the seabeds. And if it is being defined, then sometimes it gets leaked up, and then what happens, this causes the flora and fauna of the sea and the sea and the oceans get to be disturbed, and the many of the animals gets killed up. Now next is the last one. This disadvantages of them is the global warming and greenhouse effect. This I have told you. That in greenhouse effect, what happens, the earth's atmosphere entraps the heat energy. So this heat energy is re-radiated on the earth's surface, because of which what happens, the earth gets heated up, and if the earth's surface is getting heated up, then it leads to global warming. Fine. This is about the use and the disuse, means the disadvantages and the advantages of the fossil fuel and how a good fuel is being formed. So we have read about one type of conventional source of energy. Next, we will study about the type of conventional sources of energy which is utilized in the thermal power plants. Okay, so we will so that's all for today. I'll meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.